Welcome back. I know I got a little far afield towards the end of the last video. I'm sorry, I just wanted to make that point really hard. But I don't want you to think that was the only thing wrong with Space Jam 2, Revenge of LaFlop. Oh, no. There was very little about this movie that it didn't get wrong. Fortunately, none of it rises to the level of philosophical ranting, so this should go a lot more quickly. When I say kayfabe, I mean the internal rules and continuity of the universe in which the given story takes place. These things are necessary for an actual story to take place. Without these things, there is no longer cause and effect, and therefore no story. It just becomes stuff happening. For instance, LeBron landing in Toon World turns him into a cartoon. That's not how it worked for Michael. Does big dick energy give you immunity to toonification? Why is it leaving Toon World doesn't immediately turn LeBron back to 3D? Does the movie have any idea how any of this works? Of course not. Well, maybe this movie is in a different universe with different rules. No, this is very clearly a direct sequel. Bugs references the first movie several times, and the little gremlins who would become the Monstars in the first movie make an appearance. And their appearance is literally copy-pasted from the first movie. Look at the screen. I know, you're in class, or your boss is coming, or you're just listening to this while watching Tentacle Hentai in another tab, you sick fuck. But I need you to look at the screen. Frame for frame, the exact same scene, copy and pasted.
How embarrassing. How embarrassing.
While I'm on the topic of the little gremlins, why do they appear to be cheering on the Goon Squad, the bad guy team? At the end of the first movie, the Gremlins and the Toons appeared to be on good terms, with the Gremlins asking to stay in Toon World instead of returning to Moron Mountain. Did the Muppets who wrote this movie not actually watch the first movie? Did the schmuck-ass YouTuber put more effort into his schmuck-ass YouTube videos than the Hollywood pros put into their $150 million movie?
How embarrassing!
This movie can't even remember its own continuity. At the start of the basketball game, a big deal is made of style points. It's video game rules, so you get bonus points and score multipliers for a 360 windmill ladder stall triple wow no-scope dunk. But then, at the end of the game, LeBron hits a monster dunk with a power-up and gets 2 points for it. This movie forgot its own fucking plot a half hour after introducing it. There also seems to be the Predator 2018 situation where some lines were lost in editing and later lines that refer back to those lines were kept in. So you have really odd situations where characters mention utter nonsense, like here.
He's not bad. He's just sad because he works so hard and no one pays attention to him. He's like me, Dad.
No, he's nothing like you. He's manipulating you.
Whoa, why are you using all these charged words? Deleting, manipulate, kidnapped.
I'm sure there are other continuity errors in this shambolic abortion, but I'm already putting more effort into roasting the movie than was put into making it, so I'm moving along. The villain of this movie is terrible, even by this terrible movie's low standards. The villain of the original Space Jam was not multifaceted, but he did have a sensible setup and motivation, and took mostly sensible actions to achieve it. This movie's dumb-ass villain is a Warner Brothers marketing algorithm that came up with the genius idea to partner with LeBron James for branding. Apparently, the ass clowns at Warner needed a goddamned algorithm to come up with that idea. Oh, and the algorithm is called Algorithm. It's like a so bad it's funny joke that was so beyond bad that it stopped being funny. So LeBron declines the partnership, which causes Al G to abduct him into the serververse and challenge him to a game of basketball.
For no reason!
Like, the reason the movie gives is because LeBron said he wanted to focus on basketball. But the moment LeBron was dragged into the Serververse, Al G had everything he wanted. He never needed to offer to play a basketball game. At least the first movie had the decency to have Bugs trick the idiot gremlins into accepting a basketball game. As already mentioned, Al G just says, out of the crystal clear blue, that the Toons will be deleted if they lose. Which he does.
For no reason!
The worst of it might be what a dipshit basketball coach he is. There's a player for the Goon Squad called Dame Time, after Damian Lillard. Dame Time can stop time for everyone around him. Al G has this guy coming off the bench.
What are you, Down syndrome?
Al G isn't exactly Phil Jackson. To sum up, the villain is a confusing moron who acts directly against what is established to be his interests. He's an utter failure of a villain or even character, and his angry voice effect sounds like something I could do in Audacity in 10 minutes.
But those days are over. I'm done playing by everybody else's rules. It is my game now.
The morons writing this catastrophe had not the faintest clue how to use the Looney Tune characters. They couldn't even write in a chance for Daffy to say,
You're despicable.
They give considerable focus to gags with Granny, the character literally nobody thinks of when they think of Looney Tunes, and goddamn are the gags for her terrible.
Haters gonna hate.
See, it's funny because she's really old and said something a young kid might have said 20 years ago. You want to know how bad they fucked this up? They had one of Wile E. Coyote's Acme machines actually work right.
Coming off the bench now for the Toons, Wile Coyote.
You know, when I was a little children watching the original Space Jam, I also liked the original Toy Story movie. But I might not have liked it as much at the time if I knew I was going to spend the rest of my fucking life looking at 3D computer animation that makes me want to throw up into some tinfoil and eat it. Whoever thought this was a good idea needs to never work again. Look at the screen and tell me I'm wrong. Look how they massacred my boy. And good God, look what they did to Lola. I know it was a big deal before the movie's release that they were making the cartoon rabbit less sexy, but I wasn't prepared for this. She looked fine in 2D, but 3D Lola is so bad that I suspect foul play from Warner Brothers. It's as if this entire movie was just a 4D chess move to prevent a new generation of furries from spawning. They knew the original Lola spawned thousands of furries, and they weren't about to make the same species-ruining mistake with this movie. They just wanted to make every other mistake possible. Which brings me to... This movie was 2 goddamned hours long, and it felt every last second of it. It took 27 minutes to get to Bugs Bunny because it blew a bunch of time setting up some excruciatingly cliché family drama angle. But that didn't draw things out nearly as much as all the references to other media that were crammed into this mess, which leads me nicely to... The comedy in this movie primarily comes in 2 flavors. The first is attempts at jokes that are a magnitude of weaponized cringe that should have been made illegal long ago.
Well, that happened.
That's not a joke. That's not even a punchline. That sounds like some mid-30s writer who has never had a job outside of his inbred Hollywood niche bubble taking a wild guess at what the lowest common denominator of Zoomer finds funny and hitting it square on the nose. And that's why comedy is dead in the year of the present. The other type of comedy is reference humor. And listen, I can get a chuckle out of a reference gag, but this was way out of control. There was Granny in The Matrix, Elmer and Sylvester in Austin Powers, hate to bring it up again, but Foghorn Leghorn as Daenerys Targaryen. Jabberjaw, Josie and the Pussycats, Thundar the Barbarian, The Mask. Wait, The Mask is broken as fuck. Why didn't you put him on your team, you fucking jackass? There's the WNBA, a Training Day reference, Joel Schumacher, Batman and Robin, fucking why? A Hegao face, I am not shitting you. Look at the screen, the robot thing makes a Hegao face. What even is this movie, dude? There's a Bobby Knight chair throwing reference, Jack Nicholson Joker, and even a Chappelle Show reference.
Game blouses.
And so many more references that I either didn't get or didn't care to remember. It was like a mediocre Robot Chicken episode, which is fine when it's a stop-motion cartoon with a 15-minute runtime on a shoestring budget meant to fill time at 1 a.m. on Cartoon Network, but then you realize this is a 2-hour movie with a $150 million budget and you just want to chew your own head off. Let's see, what else is there to bitch about? Oh, yeah, the soundtrack to this movie was garbage. Original Space Jam had a great soundtrack for what the movie was. I didn't realize this movie even had an actual soundtrack until I saw all this shit in the credits. What an utter waste of noise. The Snake character literally can't travel because she doesn't take steps. That's such an asinine thing to bring up, it's just that it made me chuckle. She can also jump somehow. On that subject, the entire Goon Squad was so much worse than, one more time, the Monstars. They all look stupid, their powers were silly even by the standards of this stupid movie, with special mention going to the water-fire guy. I couldn't even tell what I was supposed to be looking at half the time. Just absolute garbage. It's supposed to be Klay Thompson, but they don't even have him shoot a three-pointer, the fucking idiots. What else? Oh, there was also a fat lesbian on Themyscira when Bugs and LeBron went there to pick up Lola.
Damn you! God damn you all to hell!
Whatever current year body-positive, gender-tastic ass clown put this in the movie, from the bottom of my heart, go fuck yourself. And the ending resolved basically everything with exactly no explanation as to how or why, which does stay consistent with the rest of the movie being the raining shits, but Jesus, they didn't even try. See, the Red Man can be positive, although this will not take long. Good stuff, good stuff. Well, the Malik character was alright. Him and whoever played LeBron's wife generally did a good job with the 2 minutes of screen time they each had. They featured in the one scene of the movie I found actually funny. She played a good straight man to Malik's doofusry. Basketball commentator man Ernie Banks was in the movie, and he did a good job with the garbage script he had to read. Likewise, Don Cheadle did a good job of acting the villain character, even if the writing for that character was Hall of Fame retarded. The Looney Tunes looked fine in 2D, and I'd like to see more of them, in specifically 2D. And the special effects for things like the video game court looked good, and that's about it. That's all the positive to be taken away from this catastrophe of a movie. I am done. I'm going to head out and try to spend the rest of my life never thinking about this movie again. I hope you all can do the same. Take care, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching.